So let's dive into this bad boy by recapping today's comic strip, Thursday, June 22nd, 1978. Do you want to start, Lance?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start here. Looks like we've got a purple background wall with a green. I'm assuming this is a dinner table because there's a meal involved. We'll get to that later. John is there. Garfield is also present. John is wearing his typical blue shirt, messed up hair. He still looks fucked up. Garfield still looks fucked up. I'm going to zoom in here. John appears to have, I'm going to say that's a steak on his plate. And it's a steak takes up the entire plate. I think it's a ribeye. That's what I think it is. And it takes up the whole plate. There's no vegetables. There's no sides. He has one utensil, a fork. There's no knife there for him. There's no water. There's nothing else. There's just a plate with a steak and then a fork next to it. And then he's handing a plate to Garfield, who is also, for whatever reason, sitting at the dinner table on a stool or a chair because he's not like sitting on the dinner table. He's sitting at the dinner table. He's got one arm up on the counter or table and kind of leaning, and he looks grumpier than normal. He looks very upset and distraught. And on that plate is a tiny little black pile of food. And John is saying, "I'm putting you on a diet, Garfield. Here's your dinner."
And he just looks like a real smug asshole there.
Yeah, he looks real proud of himself.
And Garfield looks, again, like an old man. Like the way he's got his arm up. Doesn't that feel like something an old man would do?
Yeah. He looks like he'd be like, if it were moving, he would like be tapping his hand on the table.
And the steak, it looks like it's entirely surrounded by like fat, right?
There's a ring of fat, and that would take up maybe like 40% of the steak. It looks like.
And what cut has fat all around it?
Well, I mean, it's also round, perfectly round.
Yeah. And there's like a little thing in like, I guess, the eye?
Yeah, I think that's the eye. That's why I assumed it was a ribeye.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on to panel number 2. So Garfield looks distraught. Like, it's scary. It's scary how fucked up and distraught he looks right here. He looks like something terrible is happening, and he's pointing off screen. And there's motion lines to indicate that he's just moving very quickly. And here he looks. He still looks like an old man, I guess, but maybe younger than the first panel. Maybe he's got some liveliness to him. But still fucked up, of course. And he's pointing off screen, and John turns around. You can see there's a motion line to show that his head is turning. Yeah, just his head is turning. And he says, "What?" with a dot after it. Just WHA. I was going to say, like, the transition in Garfield's appearance from the previous panel to this panel, it's almost like one of those Ren and Stimpy zoom-ins with like where Stimpy's like does something grotesque. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. And they do like a detailed close-up.
Yeah, and there's like a pimple on his face or something like that.
Right.
But that's not. There's no pimples on Garfield. Yeah, and I should say the dinner table. I guess we're zoomed in because the dinner table is gone. Just a plain blue background with some shadows.
Yeah, it looks like we're cut, like the dinner table is just right under frame. That's what it looks like to me. So into the third panel here.
Oh no, I just saw the third
panel. John is looking directly at the, I don't know how else to describe it, camera. He's looking at the audience. He looks very upset. His eyes are fucked up. I think Jim Davis has a real problem drawing eyes. Like, his eyes look crossed.
Like
Like
one's
one,
closed more than the other.
yeah, he kind of looks like Forrest Whitaker a little bit. Uh, and one eye is like bigger than the other. His plate is empty. There's a trail of like crumbs leading from his plate to where Garfield is. Garfield has a huge smile on his face, and those jowls that normally hang at Garfield's side are raised. They're right up, left, and right of him, and his mouth is clearly full. He's chewing, and then we still haven't determined if it's sweat or drool. Droplets are flying off of him.
Yeah,
But
I guess it's drool, but I don't associate Garfield with being such a messy eater.
right. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't know. There's like, and then there's chew lines. I will say that like the jowls being up makes him look less fucked up. Although it looks like they've given him a triple chin.
The lumpiness of the jowls is kind of distressing.
Yeah, I think that indicates food.
Yeah.
Getting back to, well, let's get into the rating.
Well, I just want to point out that John's nose is just a line. It's a straight vertical line.
I think John's nose is a horizontal, tiny horizontal or sometimes diagonal line that's at the top of that straight vertical line that is the cleft of his lip.
Oh.
I think his
Wow.
nose is a tiny little nose between his eyes.
That's weird.
Yeah. And then the rest of it indicates like the cleft of his lip, his lip. Cleft.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right.